when you hit 3-month mark, guaranteed you're going to get sick or something's going to happen and you're going to fail. That's all I had to keep hearing. And I was just like, mate, I'm not going to lose this. Like, you will need to chop my legs off. And even then, I'll figure out a way to do exercise. Yeah, I'll do something and I'll do it in the hospital. I need to die.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to stop me, would be death.
Hey, it's Julian. We're back for another episode of Lost and Founders. Today I'm here with a very special guest. Introduce yourself.
My name is Shayben Moussa. What else do you want to know?
You do a bit of everything, and I think people might know you from one of many things that you do. So let's talk about Siempre and
Siempre.
Siempre.
Siempre is my wedding photography business. We founded that in 2014. My wife and I, and that has been running fairly strong for now 11 years, and it's a wedding photo and video production business.
And we're going to unpack a little bit about the story and things like that, but just to give people a bit of an overview on all of the different endeavors, you're also today at 1 p.m. By the time this episode comes out, you would have completed over 1,000 days straight, moving, being active, working out.
Pulsary exercise, I call it.
Yeah.
It's basically dedicated exercise where you purposefully exercising for at least 30 minutes a day. It can be a walk, it can be yoga, it can be stretching if you want. I kind of set my own rules and set my own challenge on New Year's Eve of 2023. So January 1st, 2023 was the first day one. And I've continued it till now. And today is day 1,000. I haven't trained yet today, which is very rare because I normally do all my training in the morning fasted. I haven't eaten anything today, but yeah, it's going to come up at 1 p.m.
Well, obviously there would have been like a catalyst for you making this decision, and maybe let's start there because obviously you've got really successful business, and it's not just the wedding photography. There's a whole range of other cool things that you do, but I can really tell that it's your craft. You've got the Leica camera here, and
it doesn't matter as a brand. It's just I always have to have a real full frame camera on me at all times. I don't like taking photos with my phone. It's just, if you're going to take a photo, use a camera.
Yeah, I agree. It's a beautiful. I mean, you can certainly tell just by looking at everything that you do that you care about this as it's a craft for you. It's not just like, oh yeah, I'm just taking photos, and like it's not transactional.
No, it's not just business. It's not just a way to make money, that's the byproduct of doing something that you're obsessed with. And I am obsessed with taking photos. I am obsessed with capturing memories. I enjoy it. I love it. And I am also obsessed with quality. So it's just, that kind of goes hand in hand. Luckily for me, that being obsessed with good quality things in general, means that I'm not going to settle for an iPhone photo. I'm not going to settle for a GoPro footage if I can get a bigger sensor to capture those memories. And then that kind of just rolls on to everything else I do. Being obsessed with good quality things and striving to be the best of everything that I do. And that kind of just keeps rolling over. Like when it comes to exercise, even though I have a rule of 30 minutes a day, I'm pushing it to an hour and a half every day. Even though I have a rule that a walk is enough, I'll start walking and then immediately start running after maybe 60 seconds. It's like, I'm just going to go for a walk today. And then my legs say, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You start running now. That's not good enough.
Well, it's a very common trait. Obviously, I interview a lot of successful business owners and, people who are just successful in general, whatever their particular chosen sport or craft or business is. And the common trait, the common theme across all of it is that they are completely obsessed with whatever they do. It can't just be something that you fell into and have no real desire for. You're never going to reach the pinnacle of your chosen craft if that's all it is for you. If it's just transactions, just a way to make money, you can get really, really good at those things, if you just, but you're never going to reach a point where, people become, you almost like generate a cult like following where it comes through in the way that people care or people are genuinely obsessed. They're talking about something that to you might not be that important, right? But the way they talk about it just totally captures, you just hang off every word. You can see how much it means to them. So, what was the catalyst? What made you just, New Year's resolution?
Yeah.
Were you at a point in your life where you were just like, I need to be more consistent, or?
Not really. It was nothing. It was just New Year's resolution. It was a light switch moment the day before. It was a challenge, I guess. We were down in Kalala Bay with a couple of very close friends, staying there on, New Year's break holiday period. We had done a workout New Year's Eve and the day before New Year's Eve, me and a couple of mates. I think we were sitting around the barbecue at about 6, 7 p.m. and we were just chatting. And I kind of always bring this up at New Year's. I like New Year's. I think it's fun. And I always bring up, what's your resolution? And I never have one. And even when I do have one, it's rubbish. And, but I am a guy who sticks to my word. My word is gospel. So if I say something, I have to do it. There's no breaking it. And, we were sitting around the barbecue and I just said, so what's yours and what's yours? And then they all turned around at the end and said, what's yours? And at that moment, I just said, I'm going to train every day this year. And I don't know why I said that. I think as they were talking about their resolution, I was kind of, what could I do? I don't know. Like, what do I want to be better at? And because we exercised that day, it must have been fresh in my mind. And I was like, what could I do that's hard? And I just said, maybe I can train every day. And I just said, I'm going to train every day. And they just laughed, like, pick something that you actually can do. And when they said that, I was like, I can do it. I know I can. And they said, Matt, you watch, like 1 month in, you're going to be sore. You're going to need a rest day. One of the guys that I said it to is actually a PT. And he's like, you need rest. I said, well, then I'll go for a walk. It still counts. Like, I'll do whatever I have to do, but I have to exercise every day for this year. Like, I'll do that. And then, I mean, I didn't do many walks. It would have been maybe 5 for the whole year. It wasn't often that I would do just a walk. The walk always turned into a run, and the run always turned into stopping and doing burpees and push-ups and stuff. And the catalyst was just the New Year's resolution that I just wouldn't lose. And everybody was telling me, oh, you wait 3 months in, or when you hit 3-month mark, guaranteed you're going to get sick or something's going to happen and you're going to fail. That's all I had to keep hearing. And I was just like, mate, I'm not going to lose this. Like, you will need to chop my legs off. And even then, I'll figure out a way to do exercise. Yeah. I'll do something and I'll do it in the hospital. I need to die.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to stop me, would be death. And I was adamant. And once I got close to the last day of the first year, everyone's saying, what's next year? You got to do something else. And I said, no, I'm going to just keep going. That's going to be my resolution every year, is to just keep going. And I'm happy with that being a constant in my life now, that I don't see myself stopping. I've done 4 Europe trips, which includes over 36 hours of traveling, where I've exercised in Doha Airport and Frankfurt Airport and Singapore Airport. Did you know that there is a container gym in Singapore Airport?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Neither
did I, until I said, fuck, I got to get my workout in. How can I do it? Do a bit of research. Are there any gyms in this airport? And then there wasn't. So I had to get out of the airport into this container. It's pretty cool. It's literally a shipping container and they've got weights and a treadmill in there. And I did a workout there.
Yeah, and even if you don't have access to equipment, there's heaps of things you can do. You can
The only difficult
calisthenics
thing is showering.
Yeah.
Like, if there's no shower, that's the concern. Yeah. So, like, I was in the bathroom in the airport, like, using hand soap and just like, I got to clean up a bit. But you get it done. And it's kind of, it's like a thing that I must do every day, no matter what happens. I've had a baby in that time. I've moved house in that time, which was really difficult because I woke up at like 6 a.m. to unpack my, things to put in the house. And I don't know if anyone's moved house, like that is a headache. Like you are unpacking a lot of stuff over like 2 weeks, a week and a half of nonstop moving stuff, putting it in cupboards. Like I didn't stop until 11 o'clock at night sometimes. And then when 11 o'clock at night, like that's heaps of activity, but I didn't include that as dedicated exercise.
Size, yeah.
So I would go for, a quick 20-minute run at the end of the day and then walk for another 10 minutes at 11:30 at night because I'm like, I'm about to run out of time. And that was probably the hardest part. When we're moving house, that was probably the hardest part of getting it in.
I tend to think of myself as someone who's pretty disciplined when it comes to exercising. I train, let's say, 5 days a week, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But for me, it's like when the fact that you did it every single day, it's just a different level of discipline. And the reason I say that is because I tend to think of myself as someone who's very disciplined. I use the weekends because I work so many hours during the week. I use the weekend as time with my wife and kids. And so even just that, just the fact that you run a business, you're a father, husband, you got all these things going on, getting the time in without sort of, because there's compromise everywhere, right? But this is something that you weren't willing to compromise. And, if it's just 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, whatever, you just find the time, get off your phone, stop scrolling. There's always time in the day. No one can sit here and tell me they don't have time in the day to train every day.
All we have is time.
Literally.
Yeah.
And
So
the key thing there is like, why a lot of people say, like, I'm too busy to go to the gym. Okay, you're too busy to go to the gym, no problem. Go for a run around the block,
you got half an hour.
Everyone has,
Everyone has half an hour.
do some push-ups,
Yeah.
do some push-ups. And so it is inspiring to see, just that level of discipline and like no quit. You started with a goal that said it was 1 year. Now this is part of your daily routine.
Yeah.
Some people wake up and have a coffee. Other people wake up and exercise before anything,
Mm.
And I think it's really cool. And I reckon you've inspired a ton of people. And I'm sure you get messages all the time on Instagram or,
Yeah, a lot of people
platforms.
say like, I went to the gym today because of you, and that's cool. Like, it's not my purpose, not why I'm doing it, but it's nice to know that I've helped some people. My brother-in-law said that he's gotten into Shayben and changed his life. If he said if I didn't do the challenge, then he wouldn't have attempted to do anything, which is nice. I've got a couple of people who actually do train every day.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing that I do. They do the days. After their first 6 months, they were tagging me heaps and saying like, I'm doing it. And then obviously they've forgotten about me, which is great. I don't care. I don't need that credit. But I see that they're still doing it. There's a couple of people coming to today's session who have trained every single day due to what I started. And this wasn't like something for me to become a fitfluencer or anything like that. I don't really care about that stuff. It's just I shared it because I wanted to hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
That's
a real thing though.
I shared it to say, I'm going to put it out there, and make it really hard for myself to quit. I don't like being embarrassed. I don't like saying that I'm going to do something and not doing it. I put it out there and I posted every day for that first year, and I posted every day for the second year. And that's when my wife said, maybe stop posting every single day. Still train, but you don't have to post about it every single day. So this year I stopped posting every single day, but I still trained.
Yeah.
And a few people messaged me like, oh, did you stop? I said, no, I'm still training. I'm just not posting about it. And they're like, oh, but your posts made me go gym, and your posts helped me stay motivated to keep going. Can you keep posting? And I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, it was more, my wife said to me, if she's looking at it thinking, oh, he's done it again, what are other people thinking? And are they thinking like, man, just who cares that you're going to the gym? But like, if you don't care, don't follow me. If you don't care,
that's right.
don't watch. It's helping some people.
There's always going to be people like that watch. And because what I think stuff like that does is when someone is watching you do this, and they feel a negative type of way, it's actually because what you're doing is you're holding a mirror in front of them and that you're showing them their own reflection, and they don't like necessarily what they see. Every time you do that and they're not doing it, it's a reflection on whether it's self-imposed limitations or the lack of discipline that they have. You're showing that to them every single day.
But that's not my intent either. Like,
oh no, hey,
and I'm
don't
not
stop
trying.
posting, man. I'm on the other side of it. I'm like, post as much as you want. Do it. I post wild shit all the time. I don't care. I literally have I have a big following on LinkedIn, like 26,000 or something. On Instagram, I have like 1,000, 1,100. I don't even know. I don't even look at it. But for me, it's like I'll post whatever I want. If you don't like it, that's your problem, not mine. I'm literally using social media to have a bit of fun and give people a bit of an insight into the way I do things and what goes on in my head.
Yeah.
And that's it. If you don't like, or if it upsets you that I'm flying around the country for work, or I'm doing this or I'm doing that, that's on you, man.
Yeah,
So
like that's another thing that I did this year. And there's definitely a lot of people out there that are gonna say like, who cares? Who cares? And I'm like, well, if you don't, that's fine. I don't mind. Like this year, I've been on, I don't know, 21 flights, I think now. So that's another thing that I did. It's just every time I get on an airplane, I'm going to take a photo with my hand like this at the window saying flight number 20, So I knew that this year was going to be a big travel year because I had so many things lined up. I actually had 2 Europe trips booked this year, but because my wife fell pregnant in January, that threw a spanner in the works for September. So I had to send some boys. But that would have been like 26 flights, I think, by the time I came back. And that was just another thing that I did. I do a lot of traveling. I just got back from Bali a couple of weeks ago, shot a wedding there. I'm going to Hayman Island in like a week or two to shoot a wedding. I'm not sure if that might be the last one. You never know. Like I'll get a Melbourne booking within 3 days and they'll say, hey mate, can you go shoot this job down in Melbourne? And I'm like, yep. All right.
yeah.
That's another 2 flights. So I just thought it'd be funny to track how many flights I did in 1 year. And I'm not sure if it's the most, but I think it might be. I think by the time I get back from Hayman, that's going to be 23 flights in 1 year. I don't know. Is that a lot? I'm not sure. It depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people fly every day to Melbourne, don't they? Like they do meetings
for work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you got like businesses where their headquarters are in Melbourne or something like that, but they're based in Sydney. They're down all the time.
It's like hundreds per year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the exact number is. I did a count up until May
for yourself,
for myself, and it's definitely hundreds for me this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely hundreds.
Well, you're flying heaps more than me. You should do the shakas at that ender.
So you've flown a lot this year, a lot. I in the first 6 months, I was 25% of the time sleeping out of the house.
Where are you going?
Everywhere, mostly nationally, but New Zealand and quite a lot because we've got an office there. And then in April and May, I was in New York for FinTech Week and Dubai for the Dubai FinTech Summit. So
is that all finance stuff?
Yeah, all finance and tech relating to finance stuff.
Cool.
So yeah, Singapore really earlier in the year and whatever. Yeah.
What kind of finance did you do?
Yeah, it's the least sexy industry of all. Boy, it's mostly just.
But everybody uses dollars.
Yeah.
So well,
we're trying to make it cool, right? We're trying to make it cool. We have a tech platform that allows clients to apply for a loan in 5 minutes. Like no one else can do that, and it's built. Some pretty cool tech that sits behind it and pre-fills a lot of the clients' stuff.
All these Legos as well?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
So you're a Lego guy?
I'm
and a comic book guy?
A proper nerd. So
have you got a Cybertruck?
I've ordered one in 2019, but it's still not
$500
available.
down?
Nah, $500.
$500?
Yeah.
Well, we own $500 worth of Tesla stock right now. That's how it works, I think.
So yeah, I've had a few Teslas. We have a few Tesla company cars as well. So I'm a fan of them. I think they're great tech. I don't particularly think that you're saving the world by buying an electric car. I think that's horseshit.
No,
but they're cool. They're cool cars.
I got the Model Y. Yeah, for my wife, and I'm driving a van now, which is awesome. I love the van. That was the best upgrade ever. I went from an RS5 to a van. That was,
Very practical though.
and I was destroying the seats with all my gear. I was putting the seats down, loading up the car. It's a sports car. It's not designed for video and photo production. Like all this stuff, the lights, the cameras, everything were all just scratching up the back of the car. So I was like, I got to get rid of it.
Yeah, like the Pelican cases and
Yeah. And we're going in, out, in, out, in, out constantly. Now I've got this LDV G10 Thrashy that I just love. It's so good.
Does a job. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I've got this huge opening in the back and just load it all in. It's the best.
Well, speaking of that and the business, like, give us the story, because I think one of the things that people love hearing on this is like, what made you get started? Like, where did you first realize you had an interest and a passion for photography, capturing memories, like all of that stuff? Like the very beginning. I'm talking about like the genesis story.
The most I can remember would be my dad's 40th birthday. That's like the earliest I can remember holding a camera. Or I don't know what year that was. My dad's 40th. I don't know what year.
Roughly, how long ago was that?
I don't know. It must have been 13.
Yeah, wow.
12 or 13, something like that. And he never really let me use his cameras. So my dad actually had cameras. He used to do photography. He was a police officer who also shot weddings, and then he ran a water business. But he had some really cool film cameras that I still use today, and he never really let me play with them and use them. So on his 40th, my mum pulled out the camera, loaded it up with film, and she actually gave me like a whole bunch of film rolls and said, take as many photos as you can when he walks through the door. And that was like giving candy to a baby, like proper unlimited unlocking, because my dad had no control over it. And I was like, I'm going to go nuts. Yeah. So I don't know, when he walked through the door on his 40th surprise birthday, I must have taken about a full roll, like 36 shots. And I put it on spam modes, and I was looking at all the settings. And that's the earliest memory I can come back to, saying, when did you use a camera, get into photography? I was obsessed. When he walked through, I was like, and we still got all those photos. There's so many photos of him walking through the door. And then I unload the film and reloaded a new one. And that was like really fun for me. And then my uncle got married. And after I used Dad's camera at his birthday, he was like, okay, you obviously know how to use it. You didn't break it. You can use it for my uncle's wedding. So at my uncle's wedding, there's a photo of me sitting in the chair during the reception, during the speeches, and like my uncle's like thanking me as like, you know, because he's my godfather. And there's a photo of me at his wedding holding this camera. I love this photo. It's just like, it's a part of me there, like just sitting in my lap and I'm listening to his speech. And their photographer took a photo of me holding, which was cool. And then, you know, I remember the Sydney 2000 Olympics, 25 years ago?
Yeah.
I took a camera there, and like I was the only kid. So, you know, I don't know if you know, how old are you?
33.
Right. So I'm 34. So 2000 Olympics, we did a school excursion to go to the Olympics. Yeah. I was the only kid that brought a camera.
Yeah.
And we were young, 25 years ago. How old was I?
8, 9 years old.
Yeah, 9 years old. I took a camera to the Olympics, and I was like pretending to hold the torch and pretending to run. And I told the guys, like, take a photo of me here. And I was taking photos of them. But no 9-year-old was taking photos and taking cameras to stuff, but I did. And it's always kind of been a part of me. And from there, I did work experience when I was 14, 15 at an aquarium.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I was obsessed with
it's my son's dream job.
Yeah, I was obsessed with fish back there. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Nemo, I think. I think Finding Nemo, the movie, got me obsessed with that. So I went to this aquarium, and I was always into illustrating and drawing and anything creative. Visual arts was the class that I enjoyed, and I hated everything else. So that's just me. Anything to do with drawing. I used to draw all the time when I was a kid. And I wanted to, I would have loved to have been an artist, to just paint and draw. And I did this work experience at this aquarium, and I saw business cards on the countertop, and the guy that was teaching me about how to do all the work, I said, man, this is cool. And I was just looking at the business card because there was a fish on it, and it was an illustrated fish. And I was thinking in my head, like, I want to draw that. That's cool. I just wanted to draw all the time. And he said, what do you think? And I was like, it's cool. Like, this is so cool. And he's like, I made that. I said, what do you mean you made it? He's like, I made it. I said, what, you drew the card or you made it or you printed it? And he's like, no, I studied graphic design and I created the logo for the shop and I drew the fish and I created a digital version of it and we printed it and so he basically introduced me to graphic design. And I was like, that's cool. Like, what do you mean you did? He's like, did they pay you? He's like, yeah, they paid me. I was like, you can get paid to draw? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, what'd you do? He's like, I studied visual communication. I studied Bachelor of Graphic Design. And he introduced me to what that was at 14. So then immediately I was like, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. That sounds awesome. So I told my dad and he was like, no, you got to do business. You got to do this, you got to study like economics and all this stuff, standard Lebanese background. Well, I actually would have loved to have been a police officer as well. That was something I told him on, and he said, no, you're not allowed. Like, you're not.
He saw some.
He just knows, that the police didn't get the respect that they used to. And he's like, you're not doing that. So then the other thing was graphic design. He's like, do that. That's fine. Just don't become a copper. So from then I looked into what I needed to study and I enrolled into studying graphic design. And from there, graphic design, you needed to take photos of things to incorporate that into your graphic design. So I bought a camera. And then I used to take photos at like the school athletics carnivals and stuff with my new camera that my dad got me. And from there, it just developed into shooting like birthdays. So like my friend had their 16th birthday. I went and took photos of it. And then one of his friends said to me, like, can you shoot my birthday? And I was like, I don't know who you are. Like, I'm going to shoot your birthday. He's like, I'll give you $200. And I was like, yes, I'll definitely be there. You could pay me $200 to come to your birthday party and take photos. 100%.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then 4 of their friends asked me to do the same. And then 4 of their friends asked me to do the same. And then I started becoming the birthday photographer. And then from there, I started shooting everything. And it was just like nightclubs, kids, cars, everything, food, whatever I could figure out a way to monetize and get work out of it. So that way I didn't have to do graphic design. So like graphic design started to become a chore. When I was designing for people and creating logos like this and designing magazines, I actually created a comic book for year 12, for my year 12 visual arts. Yeah, I drew a comic book from scratch and I was into comics. I loved all that stuff. But then I realized there was too much opinion with graphic design with the clients.
Yeah, it takes away from the art.
So when I was creating, I was like, I love this. What do you think? And they're like, no, we want it like this. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to change it. And then
you don't love it.
I threw away my creativity for what they wanted. And like this, I put all my energy and all my soul. So you know how you do a logo?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to say, I want 10 concepts. I want 5 concepts or whatever. That graphic designer that's giving you 10 concepts, he only likes one of them. He'd spent all of his...
You usually tell which one he likes.
Yes, he spent all of his time and he's presented it to you as the biggest logo and all these tiny little small ones. Here's your rubbish. Yeah. But look at the big one. This is the one that I made. This is the one that I care about. It's got all the color on it and all the other ones just black and white. I noticed that there was too much opinion for me. So now I only do graphic design for myself. So I even made my own training program.
Oh yeah.
And I fully put it into InDesign and created it as if it's a proper design thing. Cause I can't do things half-assed. Like my mates, my training partner, we used to do programs with other PTs that we just buy online. And we've been doing that for the last 3 years. And I was like, man, like, let's just do one of our own. I'll write it up. And he's like, okay. So then one day I came with paper and pen to the gym. And I was like, what do you want to do now? I was like, let's do this part of the chest and let's do a bit of incline. And I wrote it down. Then the next week I came with this proper PDF and he's like, when do you have the time to do that? And I said, like, I made time. I like it. It looks nicer. It's got all the sets and exercises and stuff. And it looks like I've got my photo on it and stuff. I just made it as if it was one of the personal trainers programs. And he's just like, man, you're cooked.
Yeah, well, I
just do everything.
I was talking about this with someone yesterday, and it was like there's a common thread that you see is like how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? And that's something that I think has been. Someone said that it's if someone asks for something that's going to take you 10 minutes, like company said, can you send us this presentation? Here's what I want on it. Send it to me, and I look at it and go, yeah, I could just send you that, and I will send you that, but like I can make it a lot better than just that.
Yeah.
And so I end up putting 2 hours into something that should take 10 minutes. But in a lot of ways, that's what's won us so much business, so many tenders, so many different partnerships that we wouldn't like if everyone else is just doing 10-minute job and giving them exactly what they asked for, and then you present that because you don't want to forget what they asked for, right?
No, you do what they asked for, yeah.
But then you go, but also like that's just one part of what we can do. Look at all this other amazing stuff and go to the effort of actually doing mock-ups with their brand because we have white label technology, right? So put their logo, their brand, like we literally build a prototype so it makes them feel like they've already bought the product, you know? Like so. But some people will look at that and go, it's a weakness. I actually think that that's a common thread of anyone who's achieved any level of success in their craft, because otherwise, how do you stand out?
Yeah.
Like, why does somebody pick your company to shoot and capture their lifelong memories over someone else? It's got to be the small details.
Because I care more.
Yeah. But that care comes across in like, I didn't need to tell them.
I care about everything.
I didn't need to tell Shayben and his team to worry about these small 10 things because he's already accounted for them and 30 others that I didn't even think of. So that level of care comes across, and I actually think that, anyone who tells you that that's silly, that you shouldn't put time in it, I think they're wrong.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think they're wrong. I think those little details that, like maybe on a personal training plan, you'd argue, okay, well, I'm not selling it or whatever. Like it's just for us.
Yeah. As soon as I made it, everyone
Loved it,
gave
right?
it to. No, they all said, you could sell this.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to sell this. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy training and I want it to look good when I come to the gym, and I want to write my, weights down, and I don't want to do it on my notes on my phone. I want it to look nice. So I did it that way.
Yeah.
And then I update it. So I've already got 4 phases of this program that I'm training myself, and I just will create a new one every time. And
Yeah, I love that.
yeah, it's just fun.
And so you become the guy that's shooting all the events. You turn photography into, at this point, is it still a side hustle or is it a career?
Probably a side hustle until I got out. I dropped out of uni.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was studying graphic design, and I just realized I didn't need to finish.
Yeah.
When you finish university and get a degree, you apply for a junior role somewhere, and I was already in a lead role.
Yeah.
I didn't need the degree. I think I got 1 subject left. I made it through 3 years of uni. I did 3 full years of university and just stopped going. I didn't tell them anything. I didn't. If you look at my credits, I did like 98% of the course. I only need to do 1 subject, I think, to finish and get a degree. And I was just like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and spend an hour a week in the lecture room and then do these projects that I'm going to get a piece of paper for to downgrade what I'm currently doing now anyway. And my family was like, why? Just do it. You're there. You made it all the way. And I said, I'm happy with not doing it. I don't need to. I'm making enough money doing what I'm doing now. I can see the vision of what I want to do. I don't need that piece of paper. And so I didn't finish. I'm sure I could get an honorary degree considering my credits. I'm at like 98% on those credits. Visual communication, I can definitely say I'm very experienced in that field. What is it? UWS, if you're watching, I'll take an honorary degree based on
give the man his piece of paper.
On what
going to make his life any better.
On what I've achieved and what I've done and all the staff that I have now, and it's crazy. It's so crazy that I think it's just old school mentality. My dad said, you need a degree, go get it. And I believe
I think it's times have changed for sure. Like before it used to be a prerequisite to getting a job. Now, like businesses are just looking for people who want to get shit done and can be competent. They don't care about what piece of paper or anything else. I don't have a degree.
Yeah.
And, some of my friends that were the same age as me, they spent 3 or 4 years in university. to come out and earn, 60K a year somewhere. And I was, meanwhile, I was, I had already built a significant amount. I bought my first house. I did all this stuff and still in uni. And,
Yeah.
I think businesses nowadays, especially, even more so than when I was, in my very early 20s, but even back then, they cared about competence. But now, even more so, like I never even look at people's degrees when I'm hiring. It doesn't even cross my.
Yeah, I don't think to check that at all. It's just show me your work.
Yeah, that's it.
What do you? Yeah,
with your
what do you know
work,
how
it's
to
pretty
do?
cool. You just ask for their portfolio, right?
Yeah, show me what photos. Show me your raw files.
Yeah,
Like if I'm gonna hire someone, the first thing I ask is show me your raw files. Go shoot something, and show me what you decided to do from start to finish. I need to see the raw files.
Yeah.
I don't want to see edited photos. I don't want to see your Instagram. Just show me what came out of your camera, because then I'll know everything I need to know.
Yeah, that's very similar. When we hire software engineers, like, yeah, show us your commits into and your submissions and stuff into GitHub, like that. Show us your projects, show us your portfolios. We'll know.
That's all I need.
Yeah,
I see what.
It's a little bit different when it's like a sales role, because you're like, you can't. I mean, you
can't say pitch to me, like you can, but it's not going to give the same.
It's not the same. You almost need to like, let them call a customer, and you don't want to do that when they're product,
they lose you a sale immediately. You screw it. That's not what you need.
But and then you eventually become one of the leading premier wedding photographers, and brands now chase you for.
Well, weddings was the first thing that kind of amplified my career. So, like I said, I started off nightclubs. I started doing food and cars and kids and all that kind of stuff. And I worked for a whole bunch of different people. So I always had one major client. I had one major client when I was about 17, another one 18, another one 19, another one 20, where I did all the graphic design and all the photography and all the videography for each one of these people. So I kind of was their marketing guy and just content creator back in the day. And content creation was very different back then. There was no phones. There was no. It's very different.
Yeah,
There was no TikTok.
capturing. Yeah, it was like so they could print it in a magazine or something.
Yeah. It wasn't for just Instagram. Instagram was like just like a side thing that we'll chuck it on Instagram. Now it's for Instagram. It's for TikTok. It's for social media. Whereas back then it was mostly like more for Facebook. And that's what I was designing and photographing for. But from there, I think had my major client was a hair magazine at the time. And there was a girl there that worked with me pretty much full time. She was like, we were like this, because she was the journalist and I was the content creator and designer. So I did everything for that. And she would help with the literacy. And we became very close friends. She's the godmother of my second daughter, Ariel, and she now works for me full time. And there was a big disconnect there for a few years when she did her own thing and I left that business and started my own. But she was kind of the reason why I became a wedding photographer. So in that hair industry and fashion industry, I originally wanted to be a fashion photographer. I think that's probably one of the first things that most photographers want to be. It just sounds cool, fashion photography. And it's where all the elite are. And you got Fashion Week and all the brands that you really know are fashion brands, So being a fashion photographer is like a big thing. So I thought that's what I wanted to be. And she just kept asking me like, why? Why do you want to be a fashion photographer? I was like, I don't know. Firstly, because my mentor at the time was a fashion photographer. And I thought that's what I should do. And then she says, but it's like, think about what you're creating for and who you're creating for and what you're doing. And at the time I was doing wedding photography as just for money. And she's like, which one fulfills you more? So she opened my eyes a lot into the purpose of what I was doing. It's like, look at those photos you took for those people 4 months ago. They're rubbish now. You got to go do it again. And she's like, look at that wedding you shot 4 months ago. They're going to be obsessed with those photos for the rest of their lives. And you're actually making memories for them. And I started thinking, I was like, yeah, you're right. There's a lot more purpose to being a wedding photographer than anything else. Because I noticed as I developed as a wedding photographer and kept shooting weddings, you know, I would befriend these people. I was with them for 12 hours on the happiest day of their life. And we became friends. Like, I've got friends now who initially started off as clients. One of my closest friends, literally, who rolled you, by the way. You've done BJJ with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron.
Aaron?
Do you know Aaron? You've rolled with him.
I've rolled with so many people.
He's
Is he training in Art Simon?
I don't know. I told him I was doing the podcast, and he's like, he's rolled with you. He's a beast. His forearms are like this. He's one of my closest friends, and he was just a client. He was just another wedding that I was going to photograph, and we connected during the meeting, and now we're like this. But yeah, like, it's so much more fulfilling than anything else. And you can make it what you want to make it. You can make it as creative as you want to make it. Yes, you are restricted a lot more with wedding photography than other forms of photography because time is not on your side. Everything is high pressure. Everything is catch it or lose it.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. So getting more creative might mean you might miss a shot, and you can't afford to miss a shot. So then you might have to compromise on creativity in order to capture the moment. So there's a guy on TikTok right now who's working with Leica, surprisingly, who is going around asking photographers a standard question like capture the moment or carefully compose. And 95% of the answers are capture the moment, because there's always that 5% of photographer who is so egotistical and doesn't care about the moment and only cares about the craft and the shot.
Yeah.
But that's only a small percent of people. Like, I reckon 98% of people would say, yeah, you just capture it. It's gone if you don't.
Yeah.
So
you don't get a replay.
No, if you miss it, like, it doesn't matter how creative it is if you never got it. Like, the truth is, for me, capturing it is more important. And I kind of agree. Like, I would love to carefully compose everything. I'd love to put my creative spin on everything, but sometimes you just can't. And I just feel like the weddings were more fulfilling because
Well, the photos I liked in my wedding, I got married like probably just as the wedding industry started to become a whole different thing.
Yeah.
You know, like we were probably just when it started to hockey stick up, where, you know, because like most weddings I'd been to before that, you had like one or two drummers, and like now there's fucking an army of drummers.
The
and
actual display.
Yeah, it's like a full thing, and you know, so, but yeah, I think the photos I enjoyed more were definitely the ones that were actual real moments. I look at some photos and I was like, yeah, they were, you to use your words, they were carefully composed, and they're nice photos, but they don't hold anywhere near as much weight as, you know, the ones that I know that were just like
photo of it. It was just the photo of your niece. It's like, now look at her. Like, that's crazy. So like that's more where she was coming from. So from there, I started Siempre. Christina and I, my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, and we were engaged. I don't know, maybe we weren't engaged yet. 2014, we started Siempre in April 27th. That's when I registered the name.
Yeah.
Siempre. I'm pretty sure I proposed.
It means
forever.
Forever. Yeah.
And that was like the concept is that the photos we take last forever. The marriage that you have hopefully lasts forever. And I wanted a piece of my marriage in the business because she speaks fluent Spanish and I don't. So a lot of people thought I was Spanish when I started it. And I was like, no, the connection is between my wife and I, is that I believe in marriage.
Yeah.
And I believe that it should last forever. And that's why we use the word forever. And I will use the Spanish word because she speaks fluent Spanish, and there's the connection there. And then images that we take last forever. So Siempre wedding photography seemed perfect. And we were tossing up between heaps of names, and I was always going for like the typical stupid name, like the Pinnacle, and what is the top of the mountain called? And like Peak wedding for no. And then she just said it one day. What about Siempre? I'm like, that sounds cool. What's that mean? Because it was Siempre wedding, Siempre timeless wedding photography. That was the initial name. It was like timeless wedding photography came underneath, and because I kept saying the word timeless, she kept saying, how do you describe your photos? I said, timeless, like lasts forever. And she just flicked the switch and said, what about Siempre? I was like, that sounds cool. Like,
Yeah, it does.
yeah.
Very cool.
And that just took off. And bit by bit, I started to provide wedding photography services and started needing second shooters to work with me. So I started training them and teaching them how I wanted to do things. And then one by one, they learned from me and helped me shoot weddings. And then bit by bit, you know, we would get 2 inquiries on one day. And I'd be like, oh, how can I manage this? I'm not available. I need more photographers that can shoot without me.
To your standard.
My closest second photographers became my lead photographers, and then they helped me grow. And those guys, you know, I still have them a part of the business today. And, you know, they still shoot with me. And we've developed this business now where we can hold up to like 6 to 7 to 9 weddings a day. We've the most we've ever done is 9, and that was during COVID postponement period, which was a headache. That was a real tough time for us because everything just got moved, and I did no work for 6 months. But you know, it is what it is. You just keep going, keep moving, don't give up. You know, I count COVID as a blessing. It was a blessing, I feel. Now looking at the time, it was stressful as I was freaking out. I thought I was going to have to shut shop, you know, but we didn't. It came at a shocking time, as it probably did for everyone. But I mean, I got 6 months alone of uninterrupted time with my daughter.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I got 6 months of nonstop daddy-daughter time every single day with nothing interrupting us from developing our relationship together. And Harper and I became like closer than any parent could ever become, because that would never happen again.
Yeah.
Like no parents of my, you know, parents' generation ever got to spend 6 months straight with their kid. And she was in a crucial period of her life as well. She was, I think, 1.5. Like 1.5 years old, 2 years old, 6 months straight with mum and dad in the house constantly was a huge blessing.
Yeah.
Forget about the money. Forget about work. When you ever going to get that kind of time with your kid ever again?
Invaluable. You know, put a price on.
My 2 other kids are never going to get that. I don't think anything like COVID is ever going to happen again in our lifetime, because we're all privy to what happened. I don't think anyone would willingly, nobody would willingly be like, oh, we can't drive around. Okay, let's all do lockdown again. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't believe anyone would abide by any rules. I think that they did their test, it worked. And then everybody, you know, got the jab. Whoever didn't want to get the jab, they got it. And then now they're saying it didn't work and all these things. It's not even funny.
Send me off on a tangent.
Yeah. There's so many things that happen that everybody's just going to be like, we are not falling for that shit again. So
and look, a lot of people didn't fall for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, they
there's a lot of people that broke the rules. They all hang out. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not fucking taking that, you know, simple as that. I'm not going to take it, and I'm not going to listen to any of your bullshit rules. And that was that. There was some people who refused,
but I didn't. I listened. I was worried.
Yeah, because
I believe now unnecessarily worried.
Everything on the media was designed to
feel like it worked for me. Yeah. You know, and then I ended up spending 6 months straight with my kid for it. So I can't complain. It was shit. And it stuffed a lot of things up. But I mean, we're humans. We're resilient. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
I didn't give up. I still managed to lock in deals and do things and
that was what I was going to ask you is like, did you find a way to get some revenue stream while that was going? Because obviously, you know, weddings.
Well, I mean, we still booked weddings. We still booked weddings for the future, and people still, and that gave us a little bit of cash flow.
Okay.
You know, still people said like, hey, we're worried, but can we have, so I said, yeah, full government dependent rescheduling for free. So I just rolled with it. I just told all my clients, I postponed like 200 weddings for free. I didn't charge any booking fees because I figured my reputation is the most important thing. And every single client says, you guys were the best during COVID. you guys were the easiest to deal with during COVID. You didn't charge us. I didn't charge anybody a booking fee to reschedule or change the date. I didn't charge anybody any fees. I was just like, I'll wear it. I'll wear it all. Stuff it. Money will come, bro. Money always comes.
Yeah. If you truly believe that the service or the product that you provide is exceptional, the money will come. You don't need to find ways to jab clients and get this and that fee and that fee. I think what you did is the right thing because it was outside of their control too. It's not like people were just changing their mind for no reason. Like
no, that's what I said as well. I was like, this, like, it's shit for you, it's shit for me. What's the only thing I can do, which kind of helps us all, is just move it. The only thing I couldn't do was refund. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, if you decided to not have a wedding anymore because of it, I can't refund your deposit. I don't even have your deposit anymore.
Yeah.
That goes to running the business. So I can't refund, but if you, whatever you have. And then I started to figure out ways to, like, oh, look, now they want a refund. Now they're not having a wedding. What can I do? I'll do headshots for your business.
Yeah.
I'll do a video for a friend of yours. You can move that money to your friend and I'll do something for them. Get them to choose me for photos and tell them to give you, $3,000. Get them to choose us for this. I was like, I was willing to work with everyone. There's always a way. And once you start leveling with people, they're like, he's just a normal guy. Like, how can we take him to court, to try and get money off him? He's giving us 100 options. I'll figure out a way to help everyone and figure out a way to, get through every situation because that's just who I am. Is take action. I live with 100% sense of urgency in everything that I do. Everything has to be done yesterday.
Yeah, I love that. That's a sign of a high achiever. There's a lot of people that are only good at talking and they're not very good at doing.
Yeah, I take action. Like today, today's a nightmare with my 1000th day. I had a PT. I spoke to him yesterday. I said, like, I'm going to call my muscle chef and I did all this yesterday. And I said, I'm going to call my muscle chef. I'm going to call Eljan. I'll get them to cater it. You do the PT. He's got a lot of followers online and he was down to do it. And he said it. And then this morning, 5:30 a.m., he canceled. He's like, I can't make it. Some personal things came up. And I was like, fair enough, bro. Do you know anyone else that can help? He didn't get back to me, which was a pretty shit go. But then I immediately contacted a whole bunch of people and got this new guy, George Mas, who's going to come, who seems like an absolute legend. He works at the yard in Bellwood and he's like, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, sweet. So I got that sorted within about half an hour.
Yeah.
Like if something goes wrong, you need to sort it out immediately. And if anything needs to be done, do it then and there. If you ask any one of my boys, like, what's the longest they've waited for an invoice to be paid? It's the best. I love it because they're like, man, Shayben's, I don't know how. They'll invoice me at 12 o'clock at night, it's paid by 12:05. They invoice me at 6 a.m., it's paid by 6:05. Like, they're like, he doesn't sleep. What happens? Like, I'm in bed, I get invoiced, done, paid, sweet, thanks, bro. And they're just like, how? That's the response, like, how? Or like, why? They're like, how did you, like, how are you doing? I was like, because it's done.
Also in your industry, the thing is, like, in order to work with really good talent, right? Like talented photographers, videographers, that kind of thing, you can separate yourself by paying them soon because, like, some people just won't fucking pay them for ages. And then, so, like, why would they want to do more work for you? They end up having, between all their invoices, 20, 30, 40 grand owing.
They have to chase it.
They
don't have time for that.
How yuck is it chasing invoices,
I don't do it. I can't do it. That's why I got my wife involved in the business. She did all that. I don't like talking about money either. Like, I'm also not afraid of hard conversations. I feel like if there's a conversation that needs to be had, I am the first one to pick up the phone. And I was like, well, I'll sort it out now then. What's their problem? Let me fix it. I'll speak to them. Because sometimes people just want to be heard. They want to hear that there's another person on the other side that's willing to take the call and to help. If there's if there's ever an issue in my business, I am making the call and I'm going to fix it. And I'm going to do whatever I can to fix it.
And it's amazing.
At the end of the day, you are solely responsible for everything if you own it.
Yeah, there's it
doesn't matter what your staff did.
My favorite book is Extreme Ownership, Jocko Willink. And he talks about exactly that. Everything is your fault. Everything. And, if your staff member doesn't do the task that you asked the right way, well, what could you have done to better explain what a good outcome looks like versus a bad one? And if you are going to sit there and go, oh, he didn't fucking do this or he didn't do that,
It's your fault.
it's your fault. Yeah.
Mismanaged.
And when the whole team does that and the whole team has that attitude, it's amazing. You create people have heard of downward spiral. You create an upward spiral of momentum. And
Well, you lead by example.
yeah,
It's a very big thing.
accountability is super important.
Yeah. And if something goes wrong, you take accountability immediately. Like, I didn't give you the right resources to figure your shit out. It's on me. At the end of the day, I own it. It's my responsibility to fix it, and getting some stuff done. Being a hard worker, just be a hard worker. That's probably my biggest thing is I must be the hardest worker in the room always, constantly, and I've got a lot of people that I look up to, like Kobe Bryant, probably one of my biggest inspirations. In my office, I've got Michael Jordan's basketball signed, LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. They're the three hardest working people, and they're the three best basketball players to ever live. And
It's not a coincidence, right?
no,
Yeah.
and
There's
Kobe,
other guys that had equal amounts of talent,
Of course.
actual talent.
it's just work.
Yeah,
Like,
they
there's
just
so
outwork
many
everybody.
things that I've heard Kobe say that I live with every day. I think Kobe's probably the most underrated player of all time, because he doesn't get put into that conversation of the greatest of all time, which I think he should. And you have Michael Jordan or LeBron, and it's like,
Nah,
what
I think
about
it's
Kobe?
MJ or Kobe. I don't
Yeah,
think
like-
look, no disrespect to LeBron because he's definitely in the conversation. And if you pull out some stats and things like that, it'll show that LeBron, wins in certain areas. But I think it's MJ or Kobe, and I have both of them in our office on the wall. This giant piece of artwork. And yeah, I think they've been very influential in my life and in my
Yeah,
career.
but you're
So,
one off. The main conversation is Jordan and Kobe.
Kobe.
I mean, Jordan and LeBron.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's that you're.
There's gonna be people punching the air. Listen.
Yeah, massive. So,
Okay.
like, like it's Jordan. Like, how can you not? But it's not about greatest of all time. It's just in general, the amount of things that Kobe did, rest his soul, like what he says, and it's just resonated with me so much. Like you told me earlier, and I thought of Kobe immediately when you said that you're doing, 5 days a week when you're training, and 2 days a week times 52 is 104 extra days a year that I'm training that you're not.
Yeah.
So like, that's Kobe's mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where I've gotten it from. It's like people say to me, "Oh, I do 6 days," and I'm like, "Okay, 6 days, so 6, so it's 1, that's 52 days. I'm doing more than them." And it's like, it's not a competition, but that's a lot of days, and that accumulates every year.
Compounds. Yeah.
And that compounded hard work that I'm putting in is like, I always think to myself, like, can I wake up half an hour earlier? Like, is it going to screw me? Can I do a 3 a.m. tomorrow? Can I do a 2 a.m.? Like, that extra hour, what am I going to get done? Is it worth it? And I'm having these conversations with myself all the time. It's like, if I do an extra half an hour today and tomorrow and for 7 days, I just got an extra, how many hours done per week, per month, per year. And I'm like, okay, so I would have done that much extra work. Where would I be? What would I have to do to get that extra step done? And this all comes a lot from Kobe's mentality.
Yeah, it's crazy. He says a lot of things when you watch them back now. You're just like, fuck, this guy was ahead of his time, like,
Genius.
way ahead of his time. And people are starting to understand that now. But yeah, it was more me pointing that out because, like, a lot of people look at the way I train. I do jiu-jitsu and I go to a normal person gym as well. But normal person gym. Yeah, you have to be a little bit not right in the head to jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Oh, even less right in the head to do MMA. But yeah, it's good. The challenge with that is I travel so much for work, and you can't just walk into a random gym when you're in Queensland or in here, or, you know what I mean? It's like, what time is their classes? You know what I mean? It's like, you got to try and you
Just
just
start rolling with some randoms that you've never met before, and you just come in. It's like not a normal thing.
Well, it's a good way to get injured. because people, when you're from another gym, trying to take your head off. So I was like, oh, where does he train? Because your mate, because I've never heard of him, but we could have trained at another gym or something. But
Do you know? Oh, what's his name? I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. I just know that he rolled with you once. I can't remember. I don't know much about this. Is whatever he's taught me. He's taught me a couple of things here and there. But the guy's a gorilla. Like, you can't even joke with him. You muck around like this, and then he gets your arm, and you're like, man, calm down. I feel like I'm walking around with a security guard whenever I'm with him, because I was like, all right, he's gonna roll you.
we covered like where you've been and sort of what you're doing now, but like what do you imagine, like extrapolate all this hard work that you're putting in over the last 1,000 days and in your business since 2014, like extrapolate that out for us. Give us a bit of an idea on like where you would like to be. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I did a lot of thinking and reflection over the last 6 months, because a lot has changed. A lot has changed over the last year and a half, with my own personal branding exercise and putting myself out there more and filming what I do. And I'm now really enjoying it. I'm seeing what my true talent is, and that's connecting with people. And it's taken me a while to figure it out. But the reason why I'm so good at what I do is because of how I make people feel and what I can get out of them and how I can make them feel about themselves. And I think that's my true talent. And photography is just a byproduct of something that I enjoy to do. It's my medium, to get in front of people. But being in front of people, talking to them, understanding them, figuring out the way that they think as well, and making them feel good. That's what I want to do. I want to tell people stories, similar to what you're doing now. I've got a new idea of a YouTube series that I'm going to activate. Our first episode is live now, and I did it with Ibi Mubade, who is the owner of SK Group.
Okay.
And he owns, Noor and Joji and all these awesome restaurants. So I hung out with him for a day, and we filmed the process. And he was my first guest on my YouTube channel of BTS with Shayben, where the S stands for story. And
I like that. Yeah,
that is a photographer's perspective of really successful people, similar to yourself, where I want to go like similar to like a high-end filmed day in the life. And I want to hang out with really successful people and find out, what makes them tick, and then also tell it in a photographic way.
Yeah.
And take behind the scenes photos the whole time.
That's very cool, man.
So,
love that.
So
There's a lot of people doing the behind the scenes, day in the life stuff, and like I feel like it's the same shit. Like 403 and this and 406.
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, I don't need to see you washing your face.
No, not
Like, show me what you do. And then like
more.
they'll do like they jam pack in a whole bunch of bullshit that they don't do on a day. Like if you actually show what's somebody in their element, like at their but candidly,
But
not
real.
And that's what I mean.
Authenticity is one of the biggest things I've ever always had. I don't do bullshit.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. If there's something here, it's coming out here. And I've always been known as the blunt guy. Like in my family, it's like, Shayben, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. And I'm a little bit unapologetically that way. I definitely cross the line sometimes and need to apologize, and I definitely shouldn't say things the way I do sometimes. And it usually comes from a point of passion. Like I'm so passionate about what I'm saying that I'm not thinking anymore. It's just, if it's here, it's coming out, it's coming out, it's coming out. And I'm even so like, just do this or just do it like this. And I can probably say it in a better way. But at the end of the day, you know that if I'm saying something to you, I'm not fluffing, I'm not talking shit, I'm not giving you a masked version for my own benefit. It's because I care and because I want to help wherever I can. And just no BS. Just don't BS it, BS it. Like, when the role models move, like there's just no BS with me. And authenticity is key. That's why I think everything's resonating really well with my content, is because that's me. A lot of people are asking people that I know, like, I saw his video, is he really like that? And they're like, yeah, he's nuts. Like He's like that. Like, I am a goose. I was the class clown, and I always have been, and I always will. I was the first kid at every single parent-teacher interview. What do you think they said about me? I'd love to. I'm going to interview you. What do you think every single teacher said about me at school?
Lots of potential, doesn't listen, wants to be the class clown. Yeah, the part that a lot of successful entrepreneurs get is lots of potential but doesn't pay attention, and it's like
And easily distracted. And easily distracted and wants to distract others.
yeah.
That was every single
report card. It's
Bro,
exactly that.
every single parent-teacher interview. My parents come home and they're like, "Why? Why can't you just sit and do your work?" Because that's not me.
Yeah.
And that wasn't going to be me. And you know what? That's worked really well for me now. It's done wonders. The fact that I didn't change who I am, you know, and that kind of resonated with my friendships. I never had friends. I always was friends with everyone.
Yeah.
I always hung out with every single group of people at school. I hung out with the Aussies and the Italians and the Lebs and the Asians and, you know, the nerds, all of them. I would just have some lunch here, then I'd go hang out here, then I would go hang here. And I never went to birthday parties. I never had birthday parties. And I never had friends that were just my friends and we hung out like this. And that's me. And that's kind of who I am. And you know, back then I was a bit cut and I was like, oh, it would be nice if I just had my group of friends. But just that my life didn't pan out that way and I'm okay with it. And now I have my group of friends, which is like a very, very small knit group of close friends. But other than that, I know a lot of people and I'm a happy, fun guy who'll go hang out with literally anyone. And that's always been me.
And that's a great way. I'm excited to, you know, continue to watch your journey. I think what you're doing is amazing. It's inspiring a lot of other people. Some of them won't even be brave enough to tell you that you're inspiring them, but you are. So congratulations on all your success. God bless your beautiful new daughter as well. And thank you for taking time out of that to be here.
My pleasure.
And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, you're going to do the session at the park now, 1,000 days. I think that's a big event to cap it off. So
I'm keen. Thank you. Let me take your photo real quick before we finish, because that's a part of it.
Yeah,
you got to give me a smile. Yeah, he's pretty handsome, man. There it is. That's the smile I wanted. So you just talk a bit of rubbish and you get a good smile.